This is Morten from INKISH TV and yet another episode of Over the Skype. This time I'm very honored because I'm going to talk to Wilson, who is from Hong Kong, and he is very interesting. He's been working with colors, and I think you will be quite amazed to see what he has to talk about in a second here. So. Please welcome Wilson Chung. So Wilson, you are in Hong Kong right now. How is the situation in Hong Kong?
Hi. Hong Kong situation is much better than 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
The total case about the corona virus in Hong Kong around 1,000 cases.
Okay.
And this few days, no more confirmed case already.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the coronavirus. I mean, because Hong Kong, there's a lot of people. Is it like how many people lives in Hong Kong?
Hong Kong is around 7 to 8 million people in Hong Kong.
So if you look at 1,000 infected people, that is not too bad for such a large city, right?
Yeah. Not too bad.
And you and your family have you and your family has not been infected by anything, of course. I hope.
It's good. But actually, my family member, my son, my daughter, grandson, they are all in Canada, Toronto.
Okay.
So I just be in Hong Kong.
Okay. So, and before the coronavirus, I think that a lot of people in the world, they were worried about Hong Kong because of the riots that you had in the city. Is that all gone now?
It's much better than 2 months ago, because almost all the people in the outside area wear the mask.
Oh, okay. I get that.
Is, much better.
Okay. So, Wilson, before we talk about what you do today, let's hear a little bit about your story, because you didn't start in the printing industry, did you?
Yes. Actually, before I'm in the graphic art, I call graphic art industry. Actually, I'm a carpenter.
A carpenter.
I learned woodworking, fabric making, something like that, for around 2 years. At that time I was 17. Okay. So I start work in the graphic art industry. The first job is I learned commercial photography.
Mm-hmm.
I work in a small photography studio in Hong Kong. We do a lot of commercial photography job for advertising agents, for design house.
Wow.
At that time is 1972. And a few months later, I joined that company. 3 months later, they changed from photography to the photo finishing work. We do the darkroom, frame processing, print enlargement, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And 1 year later, my boss changed their field to another new way. Also use the photography photo method. Actually, that time is called photo graphic reproduction.
Okay, so that came from being from where you were processing the films in a dark room, and now you changed to be more in a little different area from the photos themselves, right?
Yes. The difference is we use a large format repo camera.
Yeah.
At that time, called repo camera, vertical type, and then we. Our boss introduced get some material from America, Kodak. At that time, that material is called PMT.
PMT.
P is photo mechanical. photomechanical, PM.
Yeah.
T, transfer.
Okay.
That is a high contrast photographic material, and it is a negative paper. Put on the camera, adjust the size, and then shoot the image to the negative paper, and then put another one. Is we call receiving paper together. Go through a processor like just one chemical.
So that meant that you didn't have to go into the darkroom and doing chemicals in the processing because it was transferred from the paper, from the film.
All in darkroom.
Okay, all in darkroom. Okay.
Under red light. Under red light.
Under the red light.
Because it's a blue sensitive photographic materials can be worked in under red light.
Okay.
And then two paper together, go through a roller and chemical, wait for 1 minute, and then peel it off like a Polaroid. So we get the reproduction.
Okay.
And that time we use this material for reproduction for the logos, letterings in different size for the designers. They put on they paste up on for the artwork.
Fantastic.
At that moment.
Yeah, and when you talk about this, doesn't sound like that long time ago. And just imagine how many things have happened technology-wise since you were doing the replication of photos the way you just described. So what was the next step for you?
Okay. That job around almost 10 years.
Wow.
In these 10 years, we from normal photography to a graphic reproductions in the darkroom, and also we invent something. I show you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
This is a book called Graphic Cat.
Graphic Cat.
And it is published in 1982. In this book, all about my work, especially this part. This part.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is all about my work.
When you find an ad, you have found what you need.
I will send you this image.
Yeah, that could be nice. Yeah, so we can see it a little closer. Yeah.
We use this graphic effect.
Yeah.
Use the photographic method.
Yeah.
To have the designers more easy to make a special effect. For example, like this.
That is Wilson, that is fantastic, because I've actually sometimes been wondering about how you did that before the computer time, but now you show me how you do it before computer time, right?
Yes, that is before the computer. For example, this one. Yeah. It is the designer give me a straight line artwork. Yeah. I make it into circle. Okay, and that is done by photographic techniques? Yes, it is a special technique. At that time, I think, for example, at that time, we shoot a one sheet of 4 by 5 inches film is $5 at that time, $5. Mm-hmm. I think, what can I do to let the designers more happy, more easy to make their job done? I think, okay, maybe use some photographic technique and darkroom technique to do something. So then effect is, I think, okay, if I use some optical reflection, something like that, to do that, I think, okay, I think a prism. Okay, prism. It is a triangle. Okay, yeah. You put, it is a right angle. Yeah. Put something on here. Yeah. You can see the image in another way. Yes. Is it? Yeah. Is it? Okay. I make this prism in a round shape.
Ah, so it was more like a cone, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is like a birthday cake.
Yeah.
Circle.
Yeah.
And center is a cone.
Yeah.
The outside is straight.
Yeah.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I calculate the circumference of the circle. I make a reproduction of the artwork to the length of the circumference. I put the straight line over the circle, and the top I see a circle.
So that means that when you did like the circles that you just showed us on the book, that means that every time you had something, you had to find a diameter that was the same size as the length of the text that you were trying to reproduce, right?
No, actually, I special make a prism lens.
Yeah.
In a circle.
Okay, so it was depending on where on the cone you were basically placing the design?
No.
Okay.
I make a glass.
Yeah.
Something like a glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In a circle.
Yeah.
In a circle. And center is a cone shape.
Yeah.
That means a circular prism.
Yeah. I got it.
Okay.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Got it? That means I have a special lens.
Yeah.
Okay. I put a straight line outside the cylinder.
Yeah.
And then at top.
Yeah, I understand that.
I can see the circle image.
Yeah, I understand that. I got it. But I was just wondering. So when you have the cylinder, I was just wondering if you have to make a new cylinder based on the length of the design you wanted to have a photo from the top. No.
No need. I don't need. I make the cylinder is once.
It's once. Okay.
In fixed size.
Yeah.
And then I change the artwork. Use the photographic method to different size.
That's how you did it. Okay, perfect. Okay, that is fantastic, and that is, I guess that when you look and you tell me this story, that was how you did it. Everybody, the repro photographers and all the designers, that was how you worked before the computers, right?
Yeah. They are happy. At that time, I make the revenue of my work. Is 30 times more. Okay. And the designer, they also happy because they use the hand to draw those complex graphics, maybe 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days, and then they give me the simple artwork in straight line. I can do it within 2 hours.
Yeah. Fantastic.
They are very happy.
Yeah. So your work and your entrance into the graphic arts industry, that came from being first working in a dark room and then working with reproduction material, and then
effects.
Yeah, and then precisely, and you got into this, and you started also working also with even with color things and all this kind of thing. So maybe we should go back and hear more about that story. But before we do that, I was just wondering, maybe we should now, just so people understand why we have this conversation. Okay. What is it you do today? Because then we can revert a little bit back. So what is who is Wilson Chung and what do you do today?
Okay. What I say, my main job is a color consultant or a print consultant for most of the printers in Hong Kong or China. My major work is help the printers to solve all the problems about color reproduction.
That is a big subject, right?
Yeah. That is actually 20 years ago. My company was a major business is software selling. Mm-hmm. But software selling is in China is difficult.
Okay,
it's difficult. Not quite good at that time. It's going down. It's going down the software, especially at that time. The most income is from software is a Chinese fonts typography.
And you have, but that's another advantage because I think it's Mandarin. You have 4,000 letters, right?
Yes, much more.
Much more. Okay.
In Hong Kong, in Chinese characters, the biggest data set in the world is 80,000.
80,000.
80.
How do anybody get around remembering these when they have to write something, right?
Not easy. And in the normal set we use in the computer is around 20,000. 20,000. Around 20,000.
Okay.
Most common in the for a small small kids when they after the primary school, they should know around 3,000 to 4,000 characters. We can use commonly in the line.
It's funny because it reminds me, I was in Shanghai some years ago, and I was driving with a lady to a printing company, and I was sitting in the back seat, and then her and the driver, they took out the GPS. And I was wondering why it took so long time for them to enter the address. And then I saw that every letter has to be drawn on the little GPS pad. So when I just say the address now, but in that time you had to type it in. So I just remember that having all these letters is actually something that is a little bit more requiring than only having 28 or 29 letters, right?
Yes. But another funny questions for you about the Chinese sentence or a 100 words letter, for example. Okay.
Yeah.
If in computer, English or Chinese, which need more memory to memory the same letter. English or Chinese? Which need more memory?
More memory. I think it's a trick question, isn't it? You're trying to trick me to say Chinese, and it's probably the Latin then. Is it? What is it? Tell me.
Actually, that is a research.
Oh, okay.
That is the research. Okay. In the English word, average, how many English character, A to Z, how many character in the average? How many English alphabet become usually?
Yeah. Okay. So what you're talking about is now if you have a sentence, let's say I want to write I love you, for example, then it's a I space LOVE space YOU. And in Chinese, it could be only 3 letters, for example.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I got it.
In the computer world, English every for average is 5 characters become a word.
Yeah. So that
5 characters in the computer world, we need 5 bytes. 5.
Yes.
Become a word. Okay.
Yeah.
But in the Chinese, we need 2 bytes only for a word.
That is it's funny that you mentioned
same letter, same words. The Chinese need less memory than English.
Yeah, but then you have to remember more letters to understand it, right?
yeah, that is another way. Okay, go back to my work. Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, 20 years ago, one day, I think, my business is going down for the software selling. So what things in the industry is almost forever, I think. Okay. Lettering or Chinese English fonts almost gone because the software is going down. The price is going down very rapidly. So I think another one. I changed the letter to color.
To color, yeah.
Just a keyword, color.
Yeah.
Color. If I change the keyword to color, so what can I do?
Yeah. And that is your business today.
Yes.
Yes.
Because whatever 100 years later, 200 later, the color is still color.
Let's hope.
Still color.
Let's hope.
Yeah. So I use this keyword to think, okay, what can I do?
Yeah.
So I go around in the industry. What do you think from the traditional to digital? It is something. They have to solve some problem from traditional work to digital because almost 40 years ago, at the 1970-80, all the colors work is done by some kind of professional.
Yeah.
Color separators or some kind of professionals.
Yeah.
But nowadays, these colors is handled by a designer.
Yeah.
Or a photographer.
Yeah. And
they don't know what exactly about CMYK printing.
No. And another thing which also I have in mind when you say that is also that in the old times where you often would use lesser colors, fewer colors in your presses because you had like 1 color presses, 2 color presses, the 4 color processing of arts have changed. So now everybody is working in an RGB color space and converted into a CMYK color space. And some of the people and some of the designers have never been at a printing company and don't even understand the difference in the color spaces very well. So I guess that you're right. That is a hole where skilled people like you can help bridge between design and output, right?
Yes, that is the key at that time, I think. Okay, so and also because the DTP revolution make it happen.
Yeah.
Some kind of professional color work is handled by some people. They don't know what exactly CMYK printing.
Yeah.
So that is the problem.
Yeah.
And they work in a RGB environment, and they don't know how to think the printing, how to do that.
Yeah.
So.
And Wilson, I was just wondering, because when we talk about all these colors and all the challenges that you are talking about right now, I think that 2 organizations may have done a lot in order to give the printers a common understanding of colors. And one of them is FOCRA in Germany, and another one is Idealliance in the US. Is that something that you are working with as well?
Yes. I'm the first one. Actually, Chinese people have a G7 expert training in. At that time, I was in America to join the training for the G7.
Okay.
It is organized by. It is made by Idealliance.
Yeah.
Another one is a German organization. They do something like that. Very similar. And at that time, I also get a PSO training from. Actually, that time I'm not in FOCRA. I'm in UGA. UGA is in Switzerland.
Okay.
Swiss. Yes.
Switzerland. Yeah. Okay. And when you work today, are you then working with printing companies to get certifications of G7, or what is it you do?
Yes, I'm the some of the job is I have the printers. They get the G7 master qualifications, and also last year I also a new positions, because in Hong Kong and China most of the people they use their mother language to work, so it is not easy to learn from English. So I asked Idealliance, I want to be a G7 expert trainer.
So you train G7 in Chinese?
Yes, I trained the G7 expert in Chinese. Yes,
that's fantastic. And just before we started filming this over the Skype thing, you said that also you are focusing on some software and hardware solutions that you promised me to film afterwards, so we can see what it is you're actually doing. What is it? This is that part of that certification program, or why did you want to show us this?
Okay. Why I make this happen? Because almost 16 years ago, 2004, something like that, I go to America, GATF. I learned something about color management, print control. I know in the America, US world, they use a lot of instruments to help people to do the better job.
Yeah.
I come back to Hong Kong and go to China. They have some of these tools from some big brand, the printer makers like Heidelberg, like Manroland. They have some of these expensive tools, but they know how to use. And also the maintenance cost is very, very high. It's so some of the equipments they put it aside. Nobody
is using them. Use. Yeah, because it was too difficult.
And too difficult, and the operation is not how to say, is not very easy. I say this way, okay. I'm the user.
Yeah.
I know what the operators, the press operators, what they need. This easy operation, easy understand, and also easy, and also the maintenance is the cost not so high. They want, especially the bosses. They think, wow, the equipment is too high, and also the maintenance cost is very high. And after 2 years, 3 years, they out of order. Nobody want to keep it. So at the time, if I can do something on this, that is make the instruction more easy. At that time, around 2006, I have this thinking, because I go to the factories. I have them to do some print standardization. If standardization need measurement, need data to support.
Yeah.
If you don't have data, you cannot standardization.
No, that's true.
They don't have the equipments fit for that. So I think I have an I1 for handheld.
Yeah. So that was that densitometric, or is that densitometric, or is it it's
colorimetric? Actually, that is a spectrophotometer.
A spectrophotometer. Okay, yeah, because there's the two. In the old times, you used the densimeter, and today you use the spectrographer, right? Yeah.
Yes. At that time, is a affordable equipment we have is from X-ray.
Yeah.
Actually, at that time, it's not X-ray. It's Greatech Madras.
Okay.
I have the I1.
Okay.
Around $1,000 cost.
Yeah.
And every day I use for color management, color measurement.
Yeah.
I think if I can make it automatic, it's good.
That is a good idea. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I try to do some prototype, use some stepping motors. I do it myself in my workshop. It's just a hobby. But after a few weeks, I make it automatic. But
Okay.
I don't have the good software. So sometimes later, my son is graduate in Canada. He learned the computer science.
Oh, that was a good mix, right?
Yeah. When he come back, I asked my son. He called Kent, Kent, Kent. I say, Kent, if we can make this a small instrument and make a software to drive it, and then make it more easy to use, is it can do? My son say, yes, why not? So we take few months, make the hardware and make the software together. So 1 year later, we have a affordable measurement device with our software.
So
That is the software.
So the film that you will send me, that we will put into this film, is basically a product that you have developed together with Kent.
Yes.
That is great. Wilson, we are on our 32nd minute right now, and I think that we have to. It's so interesting to hear you talk. So I might ask you for a second interview and another time. But I would like to end this conversation just asking you maybe to brief very much or briefly on after the Corona time and when everything goes back to hopefully more normal time. How is the market situation in Hong Kong? Is it a good printing market, or how is that? I know it's jumping a little bit, but we are running out of time, so I'm just curious.
Okay. Actually, in Hong Kong, the printing market is not very big because
You have China and Shenzhen on the other side of the border.
yeah, because just cross the border,
Yeah.
Most of the labor costs and most of the cost is much cheaper than Hong Kong. So most the big printers, they move to China area, to mainland area. Actually, we say.
Yeah.
So just keep in Hong Kong is a usually smaller printers in Hong Kong. They do some advertising printing, because the magazine printing, because the time and because some of the magazine cannot print in mainland, must print in Hong Kong. That kind of printer still keep in Hong Kong.
Okay.
So most the printers in printing factory in Hong Kong is less than 100 people.
Yeah, okay. So it's relative small printing companies.
From few people to less than 100.
Okay.
The size in Hong Kong. But in China, it's easily the 1,000 people.
Yeah.
In a medium and to large printing factories, because a lot of work is need by hand.
Yes, of course, yeah. So that
some process need make by hands. After the printing the image, for example, the post processing use a lot of manpower.
Yeah.
That is the why they need to put the work in mainland.
Yeah. How it was so exciting to hear these things. I was in Hong Kong a couple of years ago, and I love that city. So I hope that next time I come to Hong Kong, I will have a chance to meet you, Wilson.
Sure.
It's been fun to talk to you and get to know you a little bit. And we have to stop now because it takes. I don't think we will have all our audience listening to us if it takes too much time. But I just want to thank you very much for your time with me here on Over the Skype. I think it was really exciting. And remember to send me the film so we can see the device that you and Kent developed. That would be exciting. So once more, thank you very much, Wilson.
Thank you.
And see you soon, I hope, and stay healthy, right?
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.